You know, when I'm fishing in an estuary, I don't just take one rod. There's a reason for that. Fish aren't always at the same height in the water column where you're fishing. And as you move through an estuary system, there are different types of areas where fish will live, whether it be a rock or a snag, a sandbar or a mud ledge. So what I do is I have a few rods rigged to work from the surface, which is this type of rod and reel. I have a little Berkeley Frenzy popper on there, one of my favourite estuary lures. So that's going to work on the surface. So there's any hunting predatory fish that are chasing those little jelly prawns around, we can put that on there, flick it around like a little jelly prawn, and the surface feeding active fish will whack that. Now, apart from that, what we start doing then is start moving down in the water column. One of the most efficient ways to work a water column is with a soft plastic and a jig head. It's a fairly heavy duty jig head. We're fishing in a southeast Queensland estuary, so we're liable to encounter cod and Moses perch and bream, and my favourite, of course, the mangrove jack. So your lighter brim type jig heads have a tendency of not being quite strong enough. So I fish a nitro heavy wire jig head up here. It also helps if you get a little bit of a light snag. You can tend to give them a decent sort of reef out and not break the jig head. Fishing a little Berkeley minnow grub. It's a gulp, which means when the fish grab it, they hold on longer, giving you a better chance of putting the hook in the fish. So we can cover the water column with that. This is a fairly heavy weighted jig head for a little light estuary, but I find when you're moving with the tide, you do need a fairly decent sized jig head to get the plastic in and out of that area as quick as you can. We're hunting fish that are on the move, so we're not trying to leave the plastic for too long in that area, because number one, you'll get snagged, number two, you're trying to catch fish that probably aren't in the mood. So we move quick. One of my favourite estuary lures is a prawn star. This is a prawn star junior. I've caught a lot of fish on these guys all the way up and down the coast, from the southern estuaries right through the northern tropics. Every fish eats a prawn. Now these guys are hardy, they're tough, very tough lures. Unlike soft plastic or some soft plastics, toothy critters don't tend to tear them, so you tend to get a bit more life out of them. They're a great lure for throwing right in the back of snags and tricking right out. I'll show you how this works a little later. One thing about soft plastics and prawn stars, they don't make any noise. There's no vibration. There's not a lot of movement. They rely on the fish seeing the lure. That's why I also have a hard body on hand. When I say a hard body, this is a Tilson barra, which is one of my favourite estuary lures as well. Now what this will do, as this one swims through the water, it vibrates, sending out signals to the predatory fish that I'm sick and I'm easy to catch. Now the idea for you to do is get it in as close as a snag as you possibly can and then tweak it out, making it look sick and injured. If you rip it out 100 miles an hour, a fish that's sitting in the cover is going to say, well, I may not catch that, I'll wait for the next one. You put in the snag and trick it around and make it look sick and injured, they go, there's an easy meal. They jump out, they grab it, and you're on. That's a Tilson barra, another Australian lure. You know, soft plastic fishing is getting more and more popular across the country. And with all the gear coming into the country, what's happening now is there's good quality gear coming out at your entry level. And entry level means that it's not expensive. This particular rod and reel here from Berkeley retails for about $150. It's a little attack Berkeley rod, a Cardinal 102 reel. It's loaded up with some easy braid, about a 10-pound easy braid. Now I'm going to throw that around today. I've thrown it around already before. I've caught lots of nice flathead, trevally, little cod, and all sorts of things on it. Now, it's not $1 million. It doesn't cost a lot of money, but if you want to get into it without spending too much money, this is the sort of thing you want to look into. Now, if we step up, just up a level or two from this particular rig, like I said, about $150, we have this one. This is a drop shot, Berkeley drop shot, IM6 Series 2, with a Cardinal C702. It's got a few more bearings, which gives you a little smoother reel. It's got a nice sealed drag, great got all the features of most of your Deera models. I've got this loaded up with some brand new Code Red, and this Code Red braid is sensational. I've only been able to use it for a little while, but your distance in your cast is fantastic. It shoots like an arrow through your guides. This outfit retails around $250, including the braid. So if you want to spend that extra dollars, what you get when you spend that extra dollars is a little more sensitivity with your rod. A bit more power. You can put the cast exactly where you want it, especially if you're pinpointing casts around snags and jetties. Something with a little bit more backbone and a bit more oomph in the rod means you can get a little bit more accuracy and put it in. So if you spend a few extra dollars, again, it's not an expensive rod, but in this day and age, $250 is enough money. But you know that you'll get your money's worth when you buy this particular outfit. Now, since I've been fishing since I was a little lad, we always use bait casters, and mostly Abu bait casters. I've got a collection of Abus at home from about 1950 something. They're synonymous in the bait casting world as providing good quality, hard products. Now, recent times, Abu has brought out the Revo inshore and offshore range. They're a low profile bait caster. I just love these low profile type of reels. It means you can get your hand around them when you're working your lures. This particular model comes with what I call a paddle handle. Now, it's a bit of a revelation whacking a big handle on a reel like that, and at first it took a bit to get used to, but I find that when you need, especially because I do a lot of barra fishing in the dams and I also do a lot of jack fishing, when you've got to get a lot of purchase really quickly, big paddle handle gets the fish's head turned quickly and helps you catch up quick. Now, bait casters, there are a lot of bait casters on the market and they all essentially deliver what they say they deliver. The Abu inshore retails for around $250 to $260 and the next model up's about $280. Now, they're a 7 ball bearing reel. They're very smooth. They've got a fantastic drag, about 6 kilos of drag on them. I've got this loaded up with some 50-pound stren. I know that sounds a bit over the top, but the 50-pound one that gives me is plenty of manoeuvrability. I'm not using a 50-pound leader, so I'm not going to bust my rod. The rod's only a 6-kilo rod. So the 50-pound braid is just because it's easy to use under your thumb. You can get some decent casts with it, and when you've got to wrestle, you can wrestle. I've got it loaded up. When I'm jack fishing, I've only loaded that up with a bit of 25-pound leader onto my little hard body. Now, the reason I use a bait caster in an estuary is if you try to throw that around on a spin rod, it tends to float around in the air and your accuracy can be, well, greatly diminished using a spin rod. With a bait caster, when they cast the lure, it casts them backwards, so they don't catch the wind as much. So you can get a lot more accuracy with the bigger lures with a bait caster. So don't discount bait casters. They've got a very good place in every boat, whether you're in an estuary, or especially if you're on a dam. One of my little favourites.